Hi, I'm Jilly G. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you sweet potatoes. And I usually alternate between two different sweet potato dishes at Thanksgiving. They're both my favorite. So I usually alternate every year. But this year I'm going to show you what essentially are candied sweet potatoes or candied yams. But these are sweet potatoes, not yams. But it works well with either. You can just use whatever you have. First thing I'm going to do is peel and cut up my sweet potatoes. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is I have some pecans here, probably about half a cup or so. And I've got my oven preheated to 400. So I'm going to toast these while I peel and cut up my sweet potatoes. And these are pretty big. And you can leave the skins on if you want, but sometimes the skins are a little bit questionable. So I just peeled them off. I forgot to put my nuts in the oven. So I'm just going to get my sweet potatoes peeled and then I'll show you what to do with them after that. Once you've got your sweet potatoes all cut up, just set those aside. And my nuts are all toasted. And I have about 2 tablespoons of olive oil and about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to give this a good stir till everything is evenly coated. And once your sweet potatoes are evenly coated, I'm going to put them right back on the cookie sheet that my nuts were on. And you want these all to be about the same size so they cook the same. And I'm going to roast these in the oven till they're almost done. You don't want them to be mushy, but you want them to be able to hold their shape, but you want them to be soft. So in the oven, I'll check it at about 20 minutes and see what we've got. So my sweet potatoes were in the oven for about 25 minutes at 400 and they're fork tender. You could go longer and get them crispy if you want to, but I like them where they're just tender and then they'll continue cooking when we mix in the rest of our ingredients. I'm going to cut up my nuts and then we'll put it all together. And I've left them in biggish pieces. So move this aside and bring back the bowl. I wiped it out, but we'll use the same bowl, same spatula. I have a 1/3 cup of honey and 1 teaspoon of molasses and about 1/4 cup of butter cut up. And so first I'm just going to pour this on. And just stir it all together till it's really combined. And if you had cooked your sweet potatoes too much, they would be mashing right now instead of staying in chunks. Originally this recipe was 3 to 4 sweet potatoes, a pound of butter, and a pound of brown sugar. But you can see I've lessened the butter and the sugar quite a bit. So I have a buttered casserole dish here, and then my little sticks of butter. I'm gonna wait and put those on after we put this in here. And just pour in. And then just even it out. Clean up our mess here. And then I'm just going to start putting my butter on, just wherever. And kind of nestle it down in there. It's all going to melt anyways. And once you've got your butter on there, bring over your nuts. And I'm just going to sprinkle them on. And it doesn't really matter because we're going to stir it once during baking. So get a cookie sheet, just in case. Sometimes the butter will spatter and get everywhere. But put this back in the oven for about 15 minutes and I'll give it a good stir, and then it will go another 15 minutes or so. So just very gently give this a good stir. Back in the oven for another 15 minutes. And just give it a stir, because everything, all of the butter and honey are kind of pooled at the bottom. So just mix it around. It looks really good and really hot. Let's give this a bite. You don't have to put nuts in this, but it makes it really good. And the sweet potatoes are just the right texture. They're not super mushy, and they're holding their shape really well. And that's what you want, because you don't want them to be mashed unless you want mashed sweet potatoes. But this is a perfect side dish to go with any holiday meal. And if you don't want to use the honey and molasses, you could use maple syrup in here, or whatever sugar substitute you want, or brown sugar like the original called for. But I periodically keep stirring it just to make sure all of the butter and the honey that are at the bottom stay on the sweet potatoes. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.